It's on. I think we're in the. Are we in the countdown? Where are we at?
88.
We're at 88. Oh, so we're not even in the countdown yet. What is that? A vagina?
I have no idea why I thought of my old lady when I picked this tater chip up. I guess you're right.
Tater chip vaginas.
Why do they always eat their thumb? I would think you need your thumb.
You only need one though.
Why not eat the small finger?
Because you really need the small finger.
Why?
Because you do stuff with the small finger. Your thumb is just really...
If you eat your thumb off of your left hand is... You can't pick up anything. What are you going to do with these if you don't have your thumb?
What do you mean? I can pick up everything without my thumb. I can pick these Vienna sausages up without my thumb. Well, I could never flagpole.
You couldn't do rings without your fucking thumb.
Let's name some more useless things in the apocalypse. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where they're going to be like, fuck.
How do you think...
If you could have just done rings, we could have got over that wall, bro.
How do you think that your fucking little finger's more valuable than your thumb?
Because you're not going to get anything out of eating your little finger.
What if you smash this hand? You can't fucking shoot if you ate your thumb.
I've got another hand. Why can't you shoot? You don't use your thumb to shoot.
You got to hold that motherfucker.
I seen a motherfucker, no shit, sitting on the hood of his car, shooting a gun with his feet. To include loading it with his fucking feet.
Was he handless?
Yeah, he didn't have no arms.
Afghan?
No, regular, just here in the United States, dude.
What, like out at Cameron Station?
I don't know.
Kitchen Creek or something?
No, he was at a legit range. It had legit targets, and they had him leaning on the hood of his car, up on the hood of the car, and he was fucking doing everything with his feet.
Was he missing arms?
Yeah, he didn't have any arms.
Wounded vet?
Probably not. I'm guessing it's like a...
I don't think they're just going to let a handless hillbilly go to a range.
My guess is, with the manipulation that he was doing with his feet, this was a practice thing. So, yeah. Why not? If he's got good foot safety procedures...
I guess.
As long as this doesn't blow his toe off, who cares?
I guess. Podcast 88, 509, Monday, April 22nd.
55 degrees outside.
Busy day?
Yeah, pretty busy.
It's nice out.
It'll be busy tomorrow.
I'm super excited.
Why are you super excited? Oh, because you got your core?
My core?
Yeah, your core, so you can put all the pine trees in.
No. I got all the pine trees coming. I just got 100 coming, and if this place is awesome as it seems, then we're going to order like 1,000 of them.
They have these bags at Walmart. They're bags. They're like this big. They have this. Supposedly, there's two berry bushes in there.
Oh yeah, they're bare root, and when you open them up, they look like some rotted dead root.
It just looked like a bag of soil.
Somebody stole your blueberries.
Yeah, just like
what was in it? Raspberry, blueberry? What was it?
It was the raspberry. It was the raspberry mix, but it literally just looked like soil. And like I even dug around in there. I'm like, is there fucking something here? And I just buried the whole thing.
The problem with a lot of that, so like the potatoes and shit, a lot of times that stuff will sit there in inventory. So you could have got some shit from like 3 years ago.
Last year, yeah.
But I mean, a lot of that shit it'll grow. Like I hate buying. I know everybody buys these bare roots, and you can for $100 you can buy 5,000 plants or whatever. But I would rather pay extra and buy some shit that's alive. You know?
Yeah, my thought was...
So did you plant them?
I actually went up on the spot on my property and dug a hole and planted them. And then I thought, afterwards, I'm like, man, I should have started these in a pot. I should have just started them in a pot. That way, I know they're going to grow. Where they're at right now, I'm probably just going to run them over with the lawnmower.
Man, so we have blackberries growing fucking everywhere. You're like, how the fuck did this even get here? There's blackberries growing everywhere. It's pretty wild. No, I went to spray this weekend, and we've got like these expensive ass sprayers, you know, they gave us when we bought the mower. Well, it leaks. And I'm like, that's kind of weird, right? So I'm like, well, maybe it's just rainwater. It was sitting out, you know, got rained on. It's just in that little piece on the bottom. Nope. You can see that it's like brown when it drips. So like it's dripping Roundup and whatever that other shit is, like all down the back of your ass. So I'm like, okay, that's probably not good. So I get the other sprayer out, and every step you take, it drips like on the back of your leg. I'm like, okay, that's probably not good. So I get the third sprayer, I cannot get the lid off of it. I'm guessing we used Thompson's in it when we sprayed the sheds last time.
Yeah, I bet that's what it is.
It's glued close. So like all 3 of those, we're just taking the parts we can salvage off of them. I went to get another one of those sprayers, right? And the chicken there's like, oh, we don't have those. I go, did you stop carrying them, or are you just out of them right now? What's the deal? Oh no, we've never had those. I go, I got 2 of them, and they came from here.
Where was it?
4 Seasons, All Seasons,
wherever
the place we got them from, you know. Right. So I went to Walmart, and they had one that's battery powered.
Oh.
And I'm like, Black & Decker, it's only coming with 1 battery. I'm going to have to buy a second battery now. I got extra batteries. Fuck it, we'll get it. So we got that. But I found a place that does like commercial lawn shit, and everything's battery powered now. So I'm gonna find. Surely there's one out there somewhere that just takes DeWalt batteries. So.
Oh yeah, DeWalt probably has one.
That'd be good. Let's hope. So I'm hoping. Well, it will be. As soon as we get out of here, it'll be fucking daylight for another hour, and I'll spray some shit up.
I probably need to do the same thing.
I never understood The Walking Dead. Got the idea there was a bunch of full auto weapons in the South. Also, they also seem to run out of ammo a lot, even though the public has trillions of rounds and the gun shops on every other corner in the South.
The problem with The Walking Dead is they have to make a drama that you'll follow. It wouldn't be a very good drama. It wouldn't be a very good drama for you to follow tons of episodes if it was just me laughing and giggling as I was running through the streets shooting these zombies in the head, and then getting in my M1 Abrams and backing up over them and shit and doing all kinds of crazy shit. You got to create that drama, and you create that drama and suspense by
trauma.
Yeah, trauma, making all these emergencies. It's kind of like
nobody wants to go watch a fucking movie where the trillionaire just became the trillionaire. He had to have some shit.
There's got to be some drama and shit in it. And so
I would use a skid steer.
A skid steer
with a forestry mulcher, a pulverizer on the front. I think that would take care of some of them.
Yeah, or just one of those
things where they cut the side of the road.
Yeah, they cut the side of the freeway. You just fucking put that out in front. They move to noise, so you really wouldn't even have to drive anywhere. You just be like.
What you might or might not know about The Walking Dead, season 2 or 3, they were actually held up in Atlanta at the CDC, and the dude doing research actually found that
everybody has
it. So if you died of natural causes, you reawaken. So there's not ever a shortage. Well, I mean, eventually they would run out.
Eventually they'd run out, but that's why you stay in a. That's why you, because everybody's infected, you stay in a jail, and at night everybody gets locked up in their jail cells, and then you have a rotating fire watch that controls the jail doors. So in the morning, before you open the cells, you just walk down and go, oh, I'm sorry, Paulie died of a heart attack. Look at him, he's all frothing at the mouth. All right, kill Paulie, and then everybody else will let out of the jail cells. So remember that when the zombie apocalypse comes. And the other thing, too, is you have to understand that the zombie apocalypse has nothing to do with, it really has nothing to do with zombies, and everything to do with what the United States will be like if we have a serious collapse. If rule of law goes, that is exactly what the United States will be like, except the zombies are going to be carrying guns.
That's crazy about Walmart chickens. I work at Whole Foods, and you can come buy every bird in the building. I'll drive to the next store over and get more. We're kind of rural. There's not really a next store. Like, the next store over is 30 minutes away.
Yeah, they'd have to go to Waverly.
Yeah. I'm headed to Blade Show this year. What are some go-to things to make sure I bring? For example, would it be a good idea to have a backpack, water, etc.? Thanks for all you do. Keep up the awesome content. Jacob Lee, for sure, man, because you're gonna make purchases and shit, and you don't want to have them in your hands and shit. Backpack would of course be good. Bringing water will save you from buying $5 sodas.
But don't worry about the backpack. Just hit our booth first thing.
Yeah.
And we'll sell you a backpack.
Yeah. Skully, laugh my ass off. I'm older than you. 2 reasons I shoot 9mm. 30 years as an auto technician mechanic, my hands hurt. 45 during training would be too much. Actually, 45 has less recoil than 9mm. It's way slower.
I don't care. Well,
and ammo. I was only messing with you. The Kimber Warrior is a sweet weapon. I want to come up and take the trifecta. If I get to, I'll loop I'll load up my smoker. Yeah, come on, man. You'd have a good time. Even if you just come take fighting pistol, man.
Yeah, come take fighting
If
pistol.
time's an issue.
And, truth be told, I give people a hard time about, whatever. I have a fucking...
More 9s than 45s.
Yeah, I probably... I don't know about pistols. But, I mean, like I said, I've always said, carry what you're comfortable with shooting, because that's the weapon you're going to practice with. It would do me no good, except for cool points, to get a fucking Desert Eagle 50 cal for a defensive weapon, because I would never shoot that motherfucker, because the recoil on it is ridiculous.
Would you call it a deagle?
I would call it a deagle, and I'd carry it in a shoulder holster, but it would have to be gold.
Somebody was just in here. That kid on the motorcycle had a shoulder holster.
Yeah.
What did he have in there?
He had a 1911. He had a 1911.
Tubs.
Yeah, he had a 1911. So, I mean, I just mess with you. I don't care.
Was it cocked and locked?
Oh, yeah. He was ready to go.
Flagging all of us.
Yeah,
Fucking like a motherfucker.
It's got 2 safeties on it. Yeah, carry whatever you're comfortable with.
Unless he put that beaver tail in himself.
Maybe. He was going to tell us a story about it, but he never did.
About the chick?
Well, about the gun.
Dude was like, I crashed, and this girl jumped out and stole my motorcycle.
That's fucking awesome. Nashville, love it.
John, I enjoy the podcast. Listen to you on my way to and from work because it's over an hour. My question is for Skully.
Oh, shit.
Skully, what 1911 is your favorite? Springfield, Kemper, Colt, Remington. Thank you, Dan. Singer sewing machine.
Oh, man, I'd love
General
to have
Motors.
I'd love to have a singer. If you got a singer.
Did you get the airplane link I sent you?
Yeah. What are we going to do with the airplane?
It's only $36,000. For $36,000, we can afford to have some mishaps while learning to fly.
Well, fortunately for you, that is what they used in World War II for spotter planes.
So you know the plane.
Pretty easy. Well, I'm sorry.
It's only 4 hours from here.
I don't want to say it's easy to fly for all my pilots.
I'm confident, but I've watched enough. I think that we could drive there.
It would be easier to learn than a modern aircraft.
I think we could drive there and just fly it home.
Maybe.
Pierre's like...
In the air is easy.
Pierre's like, does it have airbags? If it doesn't, I'm out. I'm like, you pussy. Of course you're out. Brandle's like, can you strap me? Can you or Skully fly it? I'm like, we can figure it out. He's like, can you strap me to the bottom?
Yeah, Brandle's all for it.
I think it's an excellent idea.
We
could probably take it off on the road right out here. If we just could land, if we landed on the road, we could just push it right into the compound.
Yeah, we could drive it into the compound. 1911, it doesn't matter. I like them all. I've got Colts, I've got Kimbers. I don't think I have a Remington. Yeah, they had to put a bigger engine.
Motor, yeah, in 1946. In 1952, they put a new motor in it.
Yep. Yeah, because I believe that really was only a 2-seater back then when they used it.
So will it run on pump gas?
It has to.
That's a rotary motor, right?
Yeah,
it's a rotary motor.
It has to run on pump gas. That's all they used back then.
Okay, back to 1911.
Oh yeah, so I love them all. It doesn't matter.
What kind of machine guns could you put on that plane?
None. Never had any guns. I mean, you could strap 50 cals to it, or have some crazy guy in the back window with a 30 cal, but that aircraft never had any guns.
A 1919 would work on it.
Well, yeah, but it would be kind of like...
What would you do? Would we just bolt it under the wing? We'd bolt it under the wing, and then you just like pull the trigger with a string?
Probably. It'd be like a World War II thing. We could just time it to the front blade and shoot through the front blade.
We could get a big Snoopy to ride with us.
Yeah.
Episode 80, you talked about people mocking germ theory. Radical ideas tend to have a life cycle. First, they are mocked and ridiculed. Then they are violently opposed. Finally, they are accepted as self-evident truth. However, to play devil's advocate, for everyone, Galileo, whose theories we now accept as truth, there were probably a dozen other dumb shits whose theories were so wrong, they never made it past ridicule and mocking. History has a tendency to cull our sample size. We really only remember the successful. Well, there's a lot of dudes running around right now fucking saying that half of Einstein's shit is full of shit. You got nothing there.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to say that Einstein shit is full of shit. It's just they're actually talking about because Einstein used diffraction for the speed of light. So he used diffraction for the speed of light, and then said we will never be able to go past the speed of light because as we get closer, our mass increases. and so we won't be able to get faster than the speed of light. But in physics, I believe physics, a fraction can be turned upside down. And if you turn his fraction upside down, then we get smaller, which means we will actually be able to go faster than the speed of light. So it's just, you don't know what you don't know until you get to that point where you know it. We think that we're smarter than the people 100 years ago, but it's not really true. We're not smarter than the people 100 years ago. We're just consolidating information faster than they did 100 years ago. So an individual that was smart 100 years ago would be just as smart today. We just have more people that are smart because of the consolidation of information.
Think about it. Einstein said it. This gospel has to be true. No sense in checking it. We can't go fucking beyond the speed of light. Now, now somebody's fucking like, oh, that might not be right. It's just like the 4-minute mile, right? When was the 4-minute mile first broken?
I don't know.
1940, 1950,
I don't
whatever,
know.
right?
4-minute
mile. Nobody could break.
Yeah,
but
nobody 5-minute mile would have been broken in the 40s or 50s.
Gotcha. So nobody so the belief was you could never run faster than a 4-minute mile. You could never do it. So as soon as the first dude did it,
yeah, 10 people did it.
No, like 200 people did it.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing when they talk about ideas. Like if you think, it's this weird thing about cross-pollination. If you have an idea on how to make a ballpoint pen, because we're at that point, that apex in history, there's probably 100 other people in the United States or in the world that are like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool, a ballpoint pen.
Yeah. Hey, John Skully, I'm 24. Had a pretty rough year. A year ago, the woman I thought I was going to marry cheated on me while I was 2 weeks into the police academy. When I broke an ankle and had to get it surgically repaired. I got some questions here. She cheated on you, so she's a piece of shit. It's better that it happened now. Yeah. Fucking your absence made it happen. It was probably happening before you were gone. You just weren't looking for it, and she was more careful for it. Number 2, did you break your ankle because of that? Did you know she had cheated on you when you broke your ankle, is what I'm asking. Then I broke my ankle and had to get it surgically repaired, and not quite a month ago, my mom died. That fucking sucks. Did you know that was coming? Did you have any warning with that? Through all that, and every day right now, I have to just keep focusing on making things better. I have 2 sisters, 13 and 16, a house, a car, bills, insurance, a bank, and 2 attorneys I'm having to deal with constantly right now. Just making the money needed to cover the new obligations is hard. But the outpouring of financial help and general support from my work, family, and friends, and has been amazing. So are you a cop? That's my next question. What is your job? Because you don't say here. So those are curiosities. But seeing John's morning videos and hearing you guys talk about getting out and putting in real fucking work and refusing to be a victim about it helps on the days when they're a little harder to get out of bed, or it seems there's a million things to do and it gets a little overwhelming. Thanks, guys. Love the podcast. I've been watching since number 1. Hope they make it well past 100.
Don't worry about feeling sorry for yourself or things overwhelming. These challenges are only making you greater. You don't get better when everything is going your way. You get better when everything's not going your way.
Get up and move, man. Even if your leg's fucking broken, you can still work out your upper body. There's a lot of things you can still do. Don't worry about the chick. Fix yourself, and the women will come. Although you should probably keep them at bay if you're truly are fucking taking care of those 2 other girls. 16 years old is old enough to fucking get a goddamn job too. I don't know what her situation is. I know you're gonna be like, no, I have to take care of these kids. And of course you do, but there's a fucking ton of kids out there that are on their own since 13 and 14. There's a ton of people who have really excelled that we talk about on a daily basis that have been on their own since they were 13. She is 16. The other kid is 13. It is not too young to get a part-time job and help that fucking household. You said you have an outpouring of money. prepare for that to stop at any time. Like, sock some of that shit away. Lifestyle design, cut expenses, cable gets cut off, fucking bullshit like that gets turned off. Conserve that money and prepare for it. These are all fresh traumas. That money will eventually dwindle. You need to be prepared for that. Possibly sell the house, cheaper accommodation, whatever it is. Be prepared for that. And work on yourself, man. Fucking yeah, your focus right now is the chaos around you. But when you start fixing you, everything else will get better. You have to be strong in order to do anything for them. Otherwise, you're all going to go nowhere if you're not. You have to take care of yourself in order to help them. And you need to fucking make them help also. Maybe that is the case, but you're going to make them better fucking people in the future for that. Skully, you were talking about the flat earther that built his own rocket and blew himself up. You said not to tell crazy people to do crazy shit because they will kill themselves. We call that natural selection. In regards to reparations, I haven't owned any slaves and you have never picked any cotton. I don't owe you shit.
I have actually picked some cotton.
I picked cotton too.
Just for fun.
I didn't know it had those giant fucking spikes on it.
Just for funsies.
As soon as when we were moving here, we got into probably like right before Memphis on the way here. You start seeing cotton, and we had stopped at a gas station, like it seemed like in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? Where like just had to get fuel. So I go out there and I'm gonna pull some cotton, and I got some, but there's big giant fucking like 2-inch fucking thorns all over that shit.
Picking cotton ain't an easy lifestyle.
How great would
they have machines for that now, so you don't have to do it.
They had machines before. How great would it be if overtime on paychecks was tax-free? Shouldn't the government be able to run off my baseline 40 hours? How great would it be if you got to choose where your fucking tax money went? Imagine the bullshit that would just dissipate. You'd still have roads. You'd still have some schooling. You'd still have the shit that we deem to be important. If you could say where your fucking money went, what fucking, the bureaucracy would just fucking, it'd be gone.
Or how about let's just say everything over 40 hours gets taxed at the same rate as the 40 hours. Imagine how much more money you'd make. You get taxed at a higher tax bracket the minute you start doing overtime.
EBT cannot purchase hot chicken, only cold. The tags for them are different. Once they sat too long unpurchased, they repack them as cold items and can be used with EBT. That might be the case, John, but I am telling you that not only myself, but not only Amanda, but Rappaport and several other people who have been here training, staying in the bigger cabins, many times, not once or twice, many times have gone to buy fucking rotisserie chicken because everybody's doing keto, right? So the fastest way is go get these rotisserie chickens, and they have to have fucking, I believe it was 2, if not 3 at all times for EBT card holders. So they very well might package them and call them cold chicken or whatever.
How can you wait?
But they won't sell those motherfuckers.
That's actually ridiculous.
Isn't it?
It's ridiculous when you think about
yeah,
it.
Who gives a fuck who buys it?
So what if I buy? What if there's 6?
That's exactly the case.
I buy 3.
Yes.
And then 4 people with EBT cards come in.
Now
you don't have any on the shelf, so
they didn't have. Yeah, I get you, bro.
Doesn't make no sense.
I get you. Self-checkout is here to stay as well. The newer idea now is handheld scanners to scan and bag your own stuff. First time I saw the handheld scanners, we were at Lowe's, and I said, "Holy shit, this is a game changer!" And that same day, we went to Walmart, and they had them also. Fucking, it took care of all the fucking problems. Scan a tag at the self-checkout. It loads everything in, pay and leave. Those handheld scanners are down to about 30% of what they started with. Lost, stolen, or whatever, it becomes a massive money pit for Kroger. Originally, self-checkout was made for express purchases, 10 items or less, to get those older people out faster. Most old people come in for 10 to 15 items at a time just to get out of the retirement home or the house. They complain about standing in line forever but refuse to get out of line. It's a weird dichotomy. I'm just a grocery store worker. What do I know? Ha, love you guys shit, all of it. You said having a shitty attitude with the checker. I do that a lot. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to change that. Thanks, you, John. It's anybody. I mean, if you interact with them, like how many times have we gone to Walmart and we're always really polite. Like we definitely come with a different energy level than most of the people that you're going to come into contact with, because I believe it changes things. When we can make you laugh, you're going to do a better job for us. It's just like using your name. People like to hear their name. But when you're like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm here. I'm like, fuck, if you worked for me, you wouldn't be. You know, like maybe that puts something in her head and it'll change. There's no reason to be shitty. Just like you shouldn't be fucking shitty to whoever. Like if I'm in line, I want you to check me out. Why am I going to be shitty to you when I want you to check me out? Why am I going to be shitty to my server when you're going to take my food where I don't see it and something could happen? Why would you? I mean, that even the danger of that aside. Why do that? Like, if you were dealing with a person that you want something from, why be shitty to them?
The other thing too is, if you're going to your job with that attitude, if you're going to the job with but not even that. If you're going to the job with that shitty attitude, not saying that you had a shitty attitude, but if that's your day-to-day basis, you're the person that's at the minimum wage job for 30 years. You're actually the problem. If you go into work and you decide when you go in there you're gonna be the fucking best bag boy or the best fucking checker or the best fucking stock guy or the fucking best shelf racker or whatever, people will notice that, and in noticing that will increase your ability to make more money. Period. Because you know what? Here's the secret.
And it might not be somebody at your job that notices it. It's some dude that wants to steal you.
Here's the secret. There's more shitty people out in the world than people who are not shitty. And so if you can just get above the fucking negativity, because that, you know, the reality is that's like Facebook. Facebook promotes negativity. If you can get above the negativity, then people are going to notice that, and people are going to want you around them, and people are going to want you to work for them, and they're going to give you more money, so you don't have a fucking minimum wage job.
It's like you're contagious. You got to remember, be fucking contagious. Also be aware of what you're spreading. It's just like as an employer, if I have a person that just constantly has a shitty attitude, they're going to poison the other people. If you got a person that's constantly talking shit about how hard they work and how little they get paid, they're going to poison the other people. That's a cancer. You have to fucking cut that out. Be contagious. Be aware. What?
Just thinking of something.
Be aware everybody you come in contact with is fucking contagious. So, number one, if you're giving them any of your time, make sure they have something you want. What comes to mind is in the gym. Dudes constantly, when I walk in, there's dudes that want to talk to me. They know now not to fucking talk to me. They know that I won't engage with them. But that's really what it comes down to. You've got 20 people in the gym, 10 of them are working out for the most part, just doing cardio or whatever. There's 3 or 4 main dudes that are bouncing all over the fucking gym. And they're constantly, like, if I'm in the gym an hour and 15 minutes every morning working out, like actually working out, an hour and 15 minutes, those dudes are in there the same amount of time and they're working out fucking 15 minutes at best, if that. And that's it. They're contagious. Stay the fuck away from people like that. And when you do give somebody your time, be contagious yourself. Fucking add something to them. It'll come back, man. You'll be surprised. And it might not come back from them. It'll come from a direction that you don't expect it to be. You mentioned automation at Whole Foods. I work for a Kroger-owned company. It's basically Kroger, just kept the local name to keep people in it. Kroger has recently begun trials with RFID tagging products in the store. You throw everything in the cart. You walk through the little metal detector type thing. It scans everything simultaneously and charges the card on your app. Yeah, Sam's Club has had that, and I believe Costco has that too, and has for a couple of years now. Not sure if when they began doing this, just stuff I heard from Top Dogs. They've also started LED signage for prices on the shelves. Yep, that means they don't need a dude in there changing those prices anymore. Where the entire new sale can be changed by a guy in Cincinnati. Also, you'll have data mining. You'll have algorithms. When something is not selling in inventory well, they will lower the price. They'll do buy this and get this. Like, fuck, even our shopping cart gives us those options. just for the shopping cart and software we use. Imagine what a big fucking company has access to. The items on the shelves will work with your phone on the local Wi-Fi, things like the power bars, and you can filter out allergens, ingredients, things of that sort. It will highlight on the shelves which one fit your parameters. That's what you were saying the other, like you were saying. We'll walk through the mall and you and I will both see different ads on the same thing.
Both see different ads.
Haven't seen much in the way of auto stocking or robots yet, but the warehouse that stack and wrap the pallets for orders to the stores are all done by robots. If you look at any video footage of Amazon, the warehouses are almost all robots. There's people in there still, but the majority of the fucking shit moving around, it's fucking robots in there.
Snowbirds.
From 12 plus years of dealing with it, the lack of human interaction causes far more problems than it solves. Crushable things on the bottom, stacked 9 feet high with heavy glass liquid on the top, uneven wrap, crooked and dumped over pallets, etc. I hear what you're saying. Those are just little glitches. Those are going to get worked out. You're going to see that happen. Have a plan for that, man. I know as the dude doing it, and the robot's possibly replacing your job. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear, no, there's no way they can replace me. These robots can't do it. Have a plan, man, just in the back of your head. Random question for future podcast. What do you guys think about assisted suicide under the supervision of a doctor? If you want to fucking kill yourself, you're going to kill yourself. If you're truly committed to that, you're going to do it one way or another. Should you be able to get some chemicals or something that assist you in doing that a little bit easier? I don't know.
If you're under the care of a doctor and they tell you that you have terminal cancer or you have terminal this, if they have given you a fucking
deadline,
you've got 6 months or whatever, and you decide, you know what, I would rather bring my friends and family in and have this moment and then end it. You should be able to do whatever you want. Why does the state regulate abortions, but it doesn't regulate when you can kill yourself?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Right? I mean, so I think you should be able to do it. I don't know why people are concerned, but I think that the individual should have the opportunity to do that. So you may have to have a, what's it called? Not a medical decree, but you may have to have, for example, if I go into a coma, some documentation saying whether or not my life can be terminated.
Do not resuscitate.
Yeah. You may have to have some documentation for that, but as an individual, you should be able to make that decision for yourself with your physician. I know people will be like, "Oh, then we'll just start killing off all our old people." If that's what they want, then you know what? If you don't think that old people should be killed, I stress that you go to an assisted living home and you see what is going on in those facilities. There are people in there that have no capability of providing for themselves, and they're being kept alive. They're not being kept alive for them.
No,
they're being kept alive for us. That's why they get kept alive. It's for us, because we don't want to feel bad. Doesn't matter how much suffering that they're going through because of dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever. So, I mean, I think it's between you and your doctor.
I would agree with that. Hey, John and Skully. My New Year's resolution was to lose 40 pounds. When I started, I was 388 pounds. And now to this date, I'm 344 and 6'3". And 6'3.5" inches.
Damn, dude.
Thanks to you guys and John's morning videos, I was able to push myself to get in shape for what I want to do. What do you want to do? You didn't tell us. And
play basketball, I'm assuming.
And don't stop there, man.
Football.
If you just lost fucking 40 pounds, what's another 10 pounds or whatever, you know?
Another 40.
Skully, what is a good 7.62 battle rifle?
Depends on what you're talking about. I would go with right now the SIG patrol rifle. If you're talking, economical versus, I mean, you can go LBR and all that other crazy shit, but they're just really expensive ARs. that Sig patrol rifle that's out in the that's like in the M4 configuration. That thing fucking shoots like a dream, man. It's a fucking good shooting gun. And I have the other guns too. I've got an LBR. I got a fucking I can't think of the other high end one, and they don't bring anything extra to the table.
Love the podcast. All I have to say about banging AOC is imagine the blowjob with those teeth. Is that good or bad? That'd be bad, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Skully.
She's a fucking
should
communist.
Totally start an SOE sniper school. A former coworker of mine is a prior service Marine who did 8 years and 2 deployments in the field as an MP. He's 31. His back took a horrible beating while he was in service. Do MPs have, like,
who knows?
Super tough job? Maybe an auto accident or something. He's holding off on surgery as long as he can. After listening to the podcast, I asked my neighbor who runs a contracting business if he uses any Makita tools. His exact words, I didn't know Makita was still around.
See, Makita, you need
I
to get your
agree
shit
with John.
together.
They don't market well. Sorry for the long podcast. Just placed my Easter. You know what? I was at Lowe's yesterday.
And you saw some?
I didn't. As a matter of fact, I didn't. I didn't even think to look. But let me tell you this. So we go to the chainsaws. I'm always baffled that Lowe's carries the whole DeWalt product line, but has no chainsaws.
That doesn't have chainsaw.
So I come out of the garden center, boom, chainsaws. I'm like, let's go look. They had a lot of battery-powered chainsaws,
but not the DeWalt.
No DeWalt. Yeah. Weird. So we walk over to the power tools. DeWalt everywhere. Look through all that shit, right? Look through everything. No chainsaw. You know what else I didn't see? And it very well might have been there, but it's not represented, man. I didn't see any fucking Makita shit. Like, none.
Yeah, when people talk about Makita in Lowe's and shit, in my head, I'm always like,
where the fuck was that?
I feel like I've seen it. But it's like back in the dusty area where you don't want to go. That chainsaw that I have, yeah. I bought at the Paris.
Man, they don't have them.
Yeah, I bought it there.
That's fucking weird. Skully, what's the best DMR? That's a designated marksman rifle.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
In your opinion, in my opinion, it's the M14, or I guess it's more of the 7.6251. What is the effective range of 7.6251?
As far as you can shoot it. Its effective range is as far as you can shoot it. But as far as the best DMR, 30 years ago, you could say the M14 was probably the best DMR. But there are so many 7.62 guns, semi-automatic 7.62 guns that operate better than the M14. The problem with the M14 is, for it to be really effective, you got to tune that motherfucker all the time. You got to tune it all the time. It's a pain in the ass. Even those guns, you got to tune them all the time. You get a fucking Mark 11, or you get the LaRue or LB. There's some fucking DM guns out there that you can shoot and they're consistent all the fucking time. JP Enterprises makes a rifle that is really a sniper rifle.
I've never heard of JP Enterprises.
It's got a place in San Diego. So there are better ones than the M14. I have 3 M1As, not M14s, because those are military guns. But I have 3 M1As, and the only time I ever shoot the M1As is if I'm feeling nostalgic. That's it. If I want to feel nostalgic and bust those out, I'll fire those.
Same day you pull out an M1 Grand.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. It's just a nostalgic shoot. I got 7.62 guns. Well, fuck. The reality is that SIG patrol rifle that I bought 8 years ago will go toe-to-toe with any M14 DMR gun.
Man, this is a fucking long
one. Oh, God, it's a long one.
Freedom Inc.
At least it's...
Speaking of... That's the guy that was here.
Oh, gotcha.
Speaking of walking around barefooted, the one thing I forgot Tennessee has that nowhere else does is the no shirt, no shoes, no service sign at every restaurant and store you walk into.
It's that way in San Diego.
That's what I was California. Thinking. So I remember seeing it. I don't remember seeing it here anyways. You know why? Because I'm never fucking barefooted and I never have my fucking shirt off in public. Good times. I kind of disagree with doctors really having a choice when it comes to abortion. It's the same argument as the cop saying, well, I'm doing my job, I just follow the law. Morals come before any law. or job or even career. I'll find another way to support my family if need be. What I will not do is violate my own morals because it's what some group of assholes in some capital says I must do. I'm not the one to push God or church or anything even down that road, but the worst thing that happened to this country is when they took things like the Golden Rule, the Ten Commandments, and saying our national anthem out of school. Our government wasn't meant for immoral and non-religious men to be a part of it. In my opinion, that has a shitload to do with why we are where we are today. I'm not saying that to push anyone towards God, because I myself am the farthest thing from a Bible thumper. But I will say this, without the Bible, humans would have killed each other off a long time ago. If anything, the fear of the unknown eternity you will face keeps you in check. AOC is exactly what happens when basic morals are not instilled into a child. I'm not using self-check because I'm not doing the work so they don't have to pay someone to do the job. And I'm not an anarchist. Government has a place. It's just a small place. You're an anarchist. You just don't fucking know it. Look it up. You guys listen to Survival Podcast, don't you? I was looking at the views, likes, etc., and realized I don't get notifications, and my wife has been telling me when the podcast has been uploaded. Maybe, well, let me stop there. You also said you didn't get the email that went out and it was in your spam. So I thought maybe something was up. I asked a bunch of fucking people, and also by looking at the sales, everybody got those emails. Something is up with your service provider or your email. Go in there, check your settings, whatever you need to do. Something is up with your guys' filter, because we just ran a sale and the numbers were through the roof, which means people are getting those emails. Maybe in your next email, tell people to turn the bell off and back on, because I did that and got the notifications for the podcast as soon as it was uploaded. Gotcha. I was on the interstate, so didn't watch it until midnight. You know, you can listen. You don't have to wait to see it on YouTube, man.
Yeah, you can watch it on podcast.
Put an app on your phone and you can listen to it, and then you don't have to fuck with the YouTube bullshit. And it doesn't fucking eat your battery up as much either. Minimum wage was $7.70 when I left Arizona. John, I worked at Harbor Freight Tools while I was going to school. I moved to the shithole Tacoma, Washington, and looking to move back to Arizona when my lease is up in 2020. I haven't got my order from the April Fool's sale yet, and already placed another one when I saw the Easter email from Amanda. I used the code and got a 2-point sling. I've been eye-fucking for a few days. I haven't felt the quality of your product yet, but I have trust in the brand. Skully, what would you rather have for 1,000+ yard shooting? 7.62, 300 Win Mag, 30-06. Thanks for the kick-ass podcast. Thanks for being a customer, man.
Here's the thing about...
Let me guess. I think I know what you're going to say.
What do you think?
I'm saying 300. He said 1,000 yard.
He said 1,000 yard plus.
300. What are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick the M82 Barrett, because it's got a 10-round magazine.
He didn't give you that choice.
Shoots a fucking 750 grain bullet.
He
Boom, baby!
He didn't give you that choice.
Here's the thing. This is what I'm going to tell you. Pick whatever you want. Just be an expert at it. Here's the issue. But here's the thing. I think with long range shooting, it should be incremental for you. So if you become an expert with 7.62, so if you go and buy yourself a 7.62 rifle, and you take a bunch of classes, or you go out to the range when the sun comes up and leave when the sun goes down, and you get proficient with that 7.62, you're gonna have longer barrel life. The ammunition's cheaper, and you're going to be able to become proficient. The problem with today's generation is everybody's looking for a shortcut. You get a 300 Win Mag, you're going to shoot less ammunition because of the recoil. The ammunition is more expensive, and you will not become proficient. So I have no problem. If you want to roll out to the range and you've got some fucking 300 Win Mag or fucking crazy, I'm going to shoot against you with that 7.62, because I know for a fact that you're not training with that 300 Win Mag. You're just not training with that 300 Win Mag. So I'll shoot against you.
Recoil's heavier.
Yeah, because the recoil's heavier. It would happen all the time. Every fucking sniper class that we had SEALs show up to,
I knew you were going to say
they would say the same thing. They would go, 300 Win Mag's a gun we're going to shoot in combat. I go, so we're going to shoot this in the course. I go, no, you're not. I go, you're not going to do it. You are not going to shoot across this course of fire every fucking day with a 300 Win Mag. You will not be able to do it. And every fucking time they went back down to San Diego and got their 308 guns. Because it's just too much. It's just too much recoil for the course of fire. So if you can become an expert, if you can become an expert with 7.62 or somewhere in that light caliber, like I said, the ammunition's cheaper, the barrel life is longer. Then when you transition to, let's say you want to do long range shooting, you want to shoot out that 1,300 yard range. When you transition to 300 Win Mag or some sort of caliber in there, the transition is going to be a lot easier because you are already familiar with the skill set necessary to make long range shots. When you go from 7.62 to 300 Win Mag, all you're doing is decreasing the adjustments that you have to make. So the bullets flying further, faster, less wind effect. So all you're doing is decreasing that, so you will be more proficient with the 300 Win Mag than the guy who starts with a 300 Win Mag. Because I'm telling you, that guy's not shooting that gun. It's just not happening. If you take a look at all the fucking PRS stuff that's going on right now, everybody is shooting that fucking little girly bullet. The reason why they're shooting that little girly bullet is because of recoil.
Is that 6.5 Creedmoor?
Yeah, 6.5 Creedmoor. It's because of recoil. It's got nothing to do with terminal ballistics. Everything to do with recoil. So they can stay on target, see if they've hit, move to the next thing. So go with the 7.62 or even 6.5 Creedmoor. Become a fucking professional with that. And then when you want to shoot really long range, you will be better at it and the transition will be less. Because once you go to 300 Win Mag, your barrel life is fucking un poquito. So you don't want to be fucking rebarreling your gun while you're still trying to figure out how to fucking shoot that thing.
You mean Paquito?
Whatever.
Did you mean small?
220, 230, it doesn't matter. This is America.
220, whatever it takes. John, greatest advice about exes ever. I went through a divorce with my 3 kids' mom after 11 years. Best thing I did was quit seeing her social media and whatnot. Y'all hit it dead nuts. No one had social media timeline divorce life advice for me. Well, let me tell you this. My attorney will tell you that most divorces that he is, like when he goes in to represent somebody, most people fuck themselves on what they're putting out on their social media. The best, if you're going through a divorce, the best thing you can do is make all your shit fucking private and shut your fucking mouth. Yep. Like, keep your fucking mouth shut.
Let her talk all the shit.
Yeah, let her. And you just sit there and collect all that data.
Yeah, let her talk all that smack, because you know what? She's going to run her mouth. Especially if you're ignoring her, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse because they can't help themselves.
It was a 2009 divorce, tech school marriage, Skully, but we were together almost 2 years. Hell, guys, she set up my first Facebook on my first smartphone. I was 6 years older than her and not a gamer type, garage, tools, dogs, kids type, toys type, male, human, plus. You and Skully are correct. The move your ass and use your hands generation will die if we don't step our game up as fucking adult male human beings. Applies to everyone we can influence. Fuck no, not everyone gets a trophy. Thanks, SOE and crew. That's it, man. You got to do for you. Like, just take care of your shit. Set an example for your kids. They're watching you, whether you think they are or not.
You know who does absolutely zero social media presence? Has zero social media presence. Dave Chappelle.
He has zero muscle tone either.
Zero. You should see him in.
Didn't he go nuts and go to Africa and shit for a while?
Well, no. Was basically what happened was the
Hollywood media industry.
So his show was on. I don't know what his show was on. I want to say Fox or whatever. But whoever owned the rights to the show, they wanted to restrict. They were like, "You're too out there. You got to stop doing these skits." He turned down $50 million. He walked from $50 million. He looks pretty big now.
He stopped the crack.
Maybe.
Skull, I don't know for a fact he was a drug addict, but I always thought he was. I thought that's why those skits worked so well, because it was actually like real shit.
He's just funny. Dave's just funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Dave's just funny.
Skully, when I was in 78, we used bug juice. The name the Navy given for Kool-Aid. That stuff will clean anything off brass. Bug juice. I thought that was the shit they were putting on for fucking bug stuff, right?
Yeah, we did. The old bug juice you could. So cami paint would be so hard. You put the bug juice on there, just enough to get it malleable, and then you put the cami paint on, and then when you came out of the field, you would get the bug juice and squirt it in your hand, and it would take the fucking cami paint off. You'd smell like fucking Agent Orange, but the cami paint came off.
It's a great day. I thoroughly enjoy the podcast. I have watched your videos since your Breakfast Club days and have bought a couple of belts and gear. I use the visor cover and water bottle every day that came with an order around Christmas time, and the bottle was an extra. Thanks a bunch. Nashville might as well be called Nashfornia nowadays. Yes, you're right. Chicken equals nastiest farm animal. There is employees are always the hurdle in business. Work ethic and sense of pride in your work are things you rarely see. Lowe's is starting to roll the idea around of downsizing their stores. Less employees. I went to Lowe's this weekend. Came in contact, direct face-to-face contact with probably 20 employees. Saw a bunch more. But like me to you, 20. Most of them intentionally make no eye contact. You see it at Home Depot too. 2 of them looked straight at me and said, "Can I help you find anything? Do you need anything?" Like those 2, that's your 10%. Actually, I didn't even think about it till right now. If I saw 20 and those 2 asked me, 10% doing fucking 80% of the work, right? Less employees. And there was like 3 big bitches at the front when we walked out. I didn't buy anything. One of them wasn't wearing deodorant. Like you could smell that bitch fucking 20 feet away. Pick your employees and have order online and pick your stuff up. The issue that is holding them back is how much product is sold as a secondary thought, leaving with more than you intended. I talked about that a while ago. Amanda and I were, 100%. Like you go in to look at the Christmas lights, so you buy some other shit. Like I bought a bunch of shit while I was there that I had no intention of buying. We went for seasonal stuff, and then they put the seasonal shit out early, and they sell it, and you end up buying some of that shit 3 months before Christmas.
90% of the time when I'm in a store somewhere and I get to that point where an employee's like, "Are you finding everything you need? Are you okay?" It's at that point, this is the answer they always get. "Yep, I got exactly what I needed. Now I'm just looking for worthless shit that I don't need."
Leaving with more than intended to. I despise Walmart mainly because the amount of complete fucking idiot customer shopping. When shit hit the fan on the national level, your first responders will be the neighbors. Community will have a whole new meaning. Quick question: wonder what the total body count from the Hurricane Katrina? Going without 9 meals or 72 hours is the timeline for mass chaos. I was born and raised in Memphis, Mogadishu, on the Mississippi. I always heard it called Memphis. It's a sad place nowadays. Shooting and murder all the fucking time. I really dig the... So let me stop there. I've been to Memphis a few times. We went a couple months ago. Memphis is laid out weird. Like you will literally be like $1 billion schools, $1 million homes, and then like a fucking Fort Apache, the Bronx, burnt down fucking like burnt out police station, like selling crack right out of it. It's a trip. We've been to Memphis. Now I'm sure that there's some ghettos we're not going to, but like we've never heard any gunshots, never like seen a crime scene.
What about when Amanda was in the Porsche and she pulled it behind those cars and all those cops were out?
That was Atlanta.
Oh, was that Atlanta? I thought that was Memphis.
Mm-mm. I really dig the podcast format. Not one specific person interviewed or one topic. You communicate with your listeners and give pretty sound advice with a touch of humor along with interesting stories. Thanks for listening, man.
Yeah, try to, anyways.
Brian, again, robots have been in Summit Racing warehouses for 10 years. It's pretty badass. When they were still hand-checked by a human at the end-in shipping department, haven't been back since. It was Hot Rod Power Tour We drove a leg of it in 2009. It was a cool trip. A bunch of old iron running down the road.
And they've been around for a long time. You just don't, like... So, it's been 15 years since I've been to Balboa Hospital. 15 years. And I don't know what happened. For some reason, I had to go down to the lower levels in Balboa Hospital. And I'm down there walking around.
Lights moving and kind of flickering and shit.
Yeah, it looked like a crime scene down there. But the fucking little black robot from Star Wars that you see cruising around all the time, they had that in fucking Balboa Hospital. So I mean, it's coming. They're gonna integrate, and guess what? We'll figure something out. There's gonna be plenty of people that have to build robots.
Do you remember when they
have to fix robots?
Do you remember when they built the new Balboa Hospital? Did you ever go to the old Balboa Hospital?
Mm-mm.
Fucking, I remember Dad working at at Balboa. I don't remember if they built. They just built a lot of new Balboa Hospital, because the old Balboa Hospital was like some shit from like...
Oh yeah, it had to have been from the 40s probably.
Yeah, it was like out of it.
Yeah, it had to have been from the 40s.
I think they tore all that old shit down. Skully, when the Glock store opens, you need to go. Jocked up in SOE gear with a camera crew. Tell them you're filming for the podcast. Look at the store, but don't touch anything. Tell them you don't like Glocks and walk away. Then show us the footage. There's Pat Davis, man. There's no like reason for that though. Like, just be cool with them dudes, because some of them dudes probably listen to our shit. Like, there's probably customers there.
I could just go in there and ask them where the 1911s are at.
I'll bet they have some.
Where are the 1911s at?
They're probably on our employees.
Do you mean the Glock 41s or 43s? Whatever the fuck it is.
Whacked it and stacked it again, boys. Epigenetics is the new shit for genetics. In reference to the military Humvee, don't tell me that it isn't up-armed. Don't tell me that isn't the up-armored version of the dog van from Dumb and Dumber. By the way...
the way the new one looks? Yeah, it
by
does
the
look
way,
like that.
It's funny how John pronounces Antifa. Listen, he says Antifa. Laugh out loud. Antifa? How do I say it? He's got me all fucked up now.
Say it however you want, because they're a bunch of fucking whiny bitches anyways that got trophies. They all got trophies.
Still around?
For whatever reason, in Seattle, they're up there, but yeah, they're not. They probably fizzled out
because they fucking gave them more heroin.
Yeah, they probably fizzled out.
Please go on Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan needs to come here. We can't go to California.
No idea y'all had a podcast.
There's some ladies looking for me.
How the fuck do you not know we have a podcast?
There were some ladies. There's still ladies there looking for me. I can't go back to California.
There was an old guy at the end of our road when I was growing up, and he always said he wanted reparations for his ancestors that lost money on slaves when they were freed. That's fucking retarded too.
But hey, here's the thing that people may not know or know that you know that for poor white people in the South, the best thing that ever happened to them was the freeing of slaves. Because you could not, if you lived in the South and you were poor, you could not get a job. There was nowhere where you could work because they're not going to hire and pay somebody money when they could bring in all this labor that they don't have to pay anything.
Meatless Burger. I'm a chef, and we have actually looked at the Impossible Burger, the name of the one Burger King is trying. As a feature for the restaurant I work at, it looks like real meat when it's raw. It cooks like real meat. It bleeds like real meat when it cooks. It tastes really, really close to real meat. With cheese and ketchup, you can't tell it's meatless. One big problem is that it is close to $12 a pound. Four times what we pay for beef patties.
That's just because it's new and it's not propagated. If fucking Burger King gets this. If Burger King gets this thing, that's why it's just being tested in certain markets. If it takes off, then that price will come down because they'll be making that synthetic meat. The question is, what is it made of? What is it made of? That's more important. Could be
liposuctions.
Could be fucking human growth hormone. I don't know. The question should be what it's made of.
Human growth hormone. I'll eat it.
What is it made of?
Oh, hi, all. I visited the Amazon store in Seattle. You just pay with your phone but people scam it all the time since they track you from the roof. So if someone else passes you a product from the stand, they get charged. Amazon says anyone that cheats the system is on them since they believe on the honor system.
And that's why it won't go nationwide. It'll have to be in little hippie cult niche places because it's only going to take the criminals. That's the problem with technology. It's only going to take the criminals about 15 minutes to figure out how to scam that. They're going to be fucking walking out with all the groceries and be charged 25 cents.
Google's listening in. I listen to these podcasts and John talking about his Porsche so much that my Facebook feed now has featured Porsches from my local 3 hours away Porsche dealership. Yep, 100%, man.
Oh yeah, that shit happens all the time.
Podcast 82. Obama shut down a lot of satellite programs that were used to monitor the Earth's fault lines, like New Madrid, which, if goes off, would destroy most of Memphis. It would destroy St. Louis. It would possibly cut the United States in half. Camden, being 160 clicks from the New Madrid fault, would lose the Hickman-Lockhart Bridge over the Tennessee River, along with the 1.2 gigawatt Johnsonville combustion turbine plant. That's right here. Like that, we can see the steam when you walk outside here. You will have zombies from Memphis and Camden at Camden city limits within days of the earthquake. So if you had an earthquake like that, those bridges are most likely coming down. The zombies that get here, the good news for Camden is the zombies coming from Memphis, we got a lot of good old boys. There's a lot of farmers and a lot of guns between us and there.
And I don't
so
think...
the dudes that come here are super lucky, or bad guys just fucking kill on sight.
Well, the other thing too is
they're not going to come...
They have to come inland. So most people are going to follow major arteries. When people start to migrate to find food, they're going to follow major arteries. They got to come way inland on the 641 in order to get to Camden. So the only people that are going to really come to Camden are those that know where Camden is. And yeah, I think...
Although they might on the way to Kentucky. When you come up the main way, the interstate, the 40... You got to get off on 641. You got another fucking 20-minute drive at 55 miles an hour to get to us.
Yeah, it wouldn't be long before there would be roadblocks. There would be roadblocks, and those people wouldn't be.
We got enough armor here to
be allowed.
Not us in this town. There is enough armor, like up armored vehicles, to hold that fucking roadway. And on both edges of that roadway, you got swamp and farmer's field. You're not driving a fucking caravan through that motherfucker without getting stuck. I'm on the back, and that's not to say that's not like I'm sure some stragglers could come in, but there's a lot of shit here. Like this is the last. I'm not saying here. This town.
This is the last place.
This is the last place you want to fucking come if you're not invited. Yeah. I'm on the back end of nursing school. I'm struggling to stay motivated to do things I need to do. I listen to the morning. Who is it? Oh, it's Josh. I listen to the morning minute video and you say the exact thing I need to hear. I carry the lesson with me all day and it gives me a little more fuel to keep going. The hardest part about it is going to school to be what is considered a non-traditional professional for a guy. I try to... is it really, Josh? Like
yeah, it's still female dominated.
But how many... okay, but I mean, how many... We meet dudes all the time. They're like, I'm a nurse.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're looking at the overall numbers, even those guys are probably two guys in a class, maybe.
I try to not let the weird looks and comments get to me, but they scratch and claw at me and make me wonder if I chose the wrong profession. Josh, reach up there and pull your fucking nuts out.
You didn't choose the wrong profession.
No, fuck no.
Oh, hell no.
Fuck them.
You didn't choose the wrong profession. Not if you're good at it. And when you think about every time you've been in the hospital. Who has done everything? The nurse. The doctor doesn't do shit. Doctor just be like, hey nurse, give him blah blah blah.
I love what the job entails, but the bitches I go to school with treat me like I'm encroaching on their territory and that's because they know men do it better. And because women have smaller brains. I want to strangle most of them with my stethoscope. There are over 100 of us in the cohort and only 5 males.
God, you're getting a lot of pussy, aren't you?
No, he's married.
Oh, sorry, John. That's your problem. If you weren't married, it'd be smooth sailing.
We'd have a harem. I want to strangle two guys too because they are 20 years old and leftists to the core of their soul. Any advice on how to keep my shit together long enough to make it out alive, intact, and without getting thrown in jail for ripping out someone's soul through their asshole? Josh, you've already fucked up because if you're having that problem, you've already voiced your opinion. Just remember, you don't get peered out of nursing school, so it doesn't matter what they think. You are there to absorb and learn. So fucking do that. Absorb and learn. Fucking get past this. You're not going to see them but a few more months. Absorb, learn, excel. Focus on fucking forward.
Be better than them.
They're contagious, man. Don't even entertain it. Just they're nothing. Half of them aren't going to fucking graduate anyways, probably. Fucking I'll bet you half of them bitches you're sitting with right now that are talking shit to you are fucking pregnant right now. Fuck them.
And have been there a couple of times.
Struggle is what keeps us alive. Know you are fortunate to be in the position you are in. Fuck them, what they think, say how they act. Who the fuck is this? Oh, that's free to me. How they act or the way they roll their eyes. The absolute best advice I've ever gotten on this subject was don't sweat the small stuff. Just keep a grin on your face and keep moving in the right direction. Don't sweat the small shit. Don't let someone else whose voice or opinion that doesn't matter affect your day. As long as you don't quit, nothing else matters. And what I mean by quitting is anything from missing a day, slacking off, quitting altogether. Selective hearing and sight can be taught to oneself. For the record, unfortunately, I've spent my fair share of time in emergency rooms, ICUs, trauma units, doctor's office in general. The male nurses usually are on their game across the board. The females are who the nurse button was invented for. 90% of females disappear during their shift. Edward Bentley. Great podcast. You're right, John. Nearly all the stores only carry the stuff with blue dye. We're talking about the chlorine. However, the tablets come with no dye in a sealed 5-gallon bucket, usually contain the moisture absorbent. I bought too much 1 year, 5 years still working. Yeah, they'll still work. The powder, however, you can use the pool shock powder. You can literally fucking make up a 55-gallon drum and then you literally use it with a dropper or fucking teaspoon to treat, 50,000 gallons. Just saw the launch of Falcon Heavy into space. They had cams on to show the booster rockets separate. From the different cams, the Earth seemed pretty round. Skully, what sights do you use on your AK?
AK sights?
The one that came with them. SOE rifle bag is great, by the way. Favorite generation Glock 19?
Favorite generation Glock 19? Is that a question?
Is the Gen 5 really an improvement?
Oh my god, if you're falling in that fucking, all they're doing is putting lipstick on a pig.
The grown meat.
Stop buying all those fucking stupid, if you have 10 Glock 19s, you've got problems, bro.
The grown meat.
I think I have two.
You have fucking 20
I have two.
Glock 19s.
I have 2 Glock 19s.
But you got 2 of every Glock.
No, I do not.
You have a Glock museum.
That would be the swing.
You have more Glocks. You have more Glocks than Jaeger has.
That could be possible.
The grown meat, which
Jaeger
isn't
don't buy
meat,
guns.
sounds like
He's
a future
not a
Soylent Green. It is one thing I don't get from the climate change crisis. CO2 will go up. Ice melts, so more rain and higher temperatures, so vegetation and food production should go up instead of down. Chocolate is on its way. Hope it may. Dude, we got the chocolate today. Monday. We got a box of chocolate. Oh my god, those little round things that have the dude's face on them. What is in? It's like either hazelnut or almond. Wasn't that good? You didn't like it?
Man, it was good, but one of the chocolates exploded. So one of them.
I think a mouse got in there or a
possible.
Squirrel.
It's possible that something
That
got in there
good.
and destroyed that. I ate the chocolate out of the bottom of that fucking cardboard box, and it may have had mouse turds on it, but it was fucking. I had to walk away because it was fucking good.
Before Jeff even saw it, Amanda got to it and stole 2 bars.
Like I am,
She's like This is 90% cocoa. I'm taking these.
I'm going home and fucking hitting the insulin as soon as I get home because I ate so much of that chocolate. It depends. Maybe. It depends on how much.
Skully, when you mentioned America's leaving trash everywhere we go, it reminded me of my Iraq deployment. Inside the wire of this little combat outpost was totally clear and free of trash. While right outside the wire was a fuck ton of trash, especially within 20 feet of the post positions where guys would piss in bottles and just chuck them. I can actually remember having a conversation on post with another Lance Corporal about, holy shit, what if, when this is all over with, they made us police call Iraq? I wish we could go back and just finish everything in Iraq in 6 months like you've been talking about. How long would it take us to police call everything too? Side note, for any new listeners, Skully's take on finishing up the wars are one of John's videos called Breakfast Talk. The will to fight. Thank you guys again for taking the man hours out of your workday to make this podcast for us. I look forward to downloading the audio every morning.
Well, if you're not familiar with what's going on at 2nd Marine Division, they may have to go to Iraq and police call. Looks like the general over there is not happy with with what's going on at 2nd Marine Division, so they may have to go and paint rocks in Iraq, which would be fucking awesome. Because look, just move the 2nd Marine Division to Iraq, finish that whole thing. Like, look, really fight until it's over, done, till that fucking squirrel comes out of a hole with a fucking flag going, "Hey man, we're done. You can have the oil, you can have the dirt, you can have whatever you want." Then we can talk about making a civilized society in Iraq. But you have to make sure that they are completely crushed before you do that. Crush your enemies before you. That's how you win wars.
Second, that's in North Carolina?
Yeah, 2nd Marine Division.
So speaking of
2nd Marine Division is getting chewed up right now because those boys are fucking walking around with their hands in their pockets.
Overland has moved. It's no longer in North Carolina.
Where's it at now?
Virginia. 12 hours away. We're not going.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's a haul getting out to Virginia.
Yeah, we're not fucking going to that. When John asked Jeff, true or false, did you ever shoot a weapon out of someone's hand? Then Jeff said true, but he ended up dying. I laughed so hard I farted and woke up the wife.
That's good, man. It's always, if you're gonna wake her up at night, it's best to do it with a fart underneath the covers.
Pull the covers over her head though. Hot boxer, Dutch oven. Oh, that's it. That's it. What time are we at? 6 minutes. We're at an hour and 19 minutes. We'll do a couple.
We can do a couple more.
503 is service unavailable, so for SOE, it's the band pansy fucks that have been fired as customers. That's not what it is.
It could be.
Gunner Dakota says, crazy coworker of mine asked if I'd ever heard of a Mr. Hands. He and others were part of a group of people who like being fucked by horses and other livestock. There is a video of Mr. Hands being fucked by a horse with a fucking 3-foot cock, and it ended up killing him. There's a bunch of those, actually. It's by far the most graphic shop, I'm thinking it's shit, I've ever seen. Not even so much the visual, but the sounds the motherfucker made when that giant animal rammed his radiator hose into the man's ass and went up into his torso. Fuck, it's awful. Makes 2 girls, 1 cup look like a Disney movie.
It actually happens all the time. There is a guy up in Oregon who went to jail because he was sneaking into this dude's barn and letting the horse fucking go to Pound Town on him. So they actually caught him with the horse going to Pound Town, and they arrested him. They took him away. And he served whatever amount of time it was. Well, I don't know how much time he got. Probably a weekend or some bullshit. And then they found him dead in there because the horse went to Pound Town on him. He went back to get some more. People are fucking
Joan Embry,
disgusting.
Joan Embry breeds Clydesdales. And they would catch dudes out there every year or so. You'd hear about it. She was in Escondido. She's the spokesperson for the San Diego Zoo. She's been on Tonight Show and shit. So every now and then they would catch dudes out there. But I think these dudes were actually fucking the horses because they'd catch them out there with 55-gallon drums trying to mount the horses.
Trying to mount the horse, yeah. You gotta have a big dog for that. That was this.
No, listen.
Oh.
The fuck is that? Skully, I wasn't there, but I'm almost certain Chuck Norris never moved his hands to knock that guy out. Legend has it Chuck has a third fist under his beard.
It's possible. It's possible, but Chuck is still stout. I mean, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Well, thanks, John. I had to Google that, what a romper was, and old adage is true. You can't unsee shit.
It's true. Get yourself a romper.
It's like something it's like a onesie you dress your kid in, but it had that like plastic little fucking diaper sack in there in case the pee came out. Love Skully imitating his voice. Awesome podcast as always. Glad to get to stop in and meet you all. The boys are still talking and telling everyone about the rad shit you have. We went to the mountains and it was 10 feet away from a black bear cub and saw coyotes, but they are showing everybody their SOE gear. They could have stayed there all day following you around. I don't care what anyone says about John and your customer service practice. Ha, you are one hell of a good, incredibly generous dude with a big heart, and you will always be all right with me. Skully, I know you were busy and kept smiling, but wish there was a time for a story in person. Next time. Love my new belt, especially that Cobra buckle. I haven't had to tug up on my pants since I put it on. Looking forward to the Easter mystery items. Somehow in ordering with the code, I think I screwed myself out of the free shipping and free item. I sent you an email, but hey, thanks so much for the $5 off for sharing on Facebook. So I actually told Amanda that, and she said that you did not fuck your order up because she had printed it and actually saw it. So I don't know. That's a cool little perk. I recently ordered on Amazon and of course through your website. For you first-time listeners, go check out SOE now. If you don't, you're a simple bitch and need to go fuck away. Front door sign. You guys rock. Thanks for everything. I can't say enough. The kid wanted that. He wants that front door sign. I actually have another one. I meant to give it to him and forgot to. I don't know where he'd fucking put it. It's literally the size of a door.
Well.
Those 3 rules you mentioned on how to make the U.S. or your own life better should be on your next t-shirt. I will buy a few. I don't remember what we said. Like the 3 rules on gossip by Socrates. Is it true? Is it about something good or positive? Is it useful for me to know? RE, your counsel on the smartest people, isn't that a theocracy? RE, nuclear power, isn't thorium the way to go? Completely agree with you on WikiLeaks and Assange. It was Sweden who charged Assange on sexual charges which were dropped. Don't think the woman involved were underage, but they said he raped them, if I remember correctly. Great and entertaining podcast as always. I also heard he is not a U.S. citizen, so he cannot be tried for treason.
They're not trying to try him for treason. They're trying to try him for hacking, which is a new law that has come into play since he has been in the Ecuadorian thing. They're just trying to get him because he released information.
Who's trying to get him?
Well, here's the thing.
I think the Trump British just wants to be like, hey, thanks.
Well, here's the thing. The British arrested him. He has not been extradited to the United States. So the question is, who is trying to get him? I am sure that MI6 right now is talking to him about his connections with Russia and trying to figure out who those cutouts are so they can try and exploit that connection. And then the theocracy, the thing about power, absolute power is absolutely corruptible. So it doesn't matter who you put in those positions. It has to be fucking rotated. You cannot have anybody that's in a position for a long period of time. I.e., it's why the President of the United States is only there for 4 years, and it's also why he can only do 2 terms. Because when Roosevelt kept getting reelected, that power was corruptible. He was corrupted by the power he had within the Senate. Take a look at some of the shit he did during the New Deal against fellow representatives. It's also the reason why I say that, it should be like jury duty, whether you work in the House or Senate. Every 4 years, there should be a new batch of motherfuckers up there. That way they do not get the power to be corruptible. Yeah, sure, Northrop Grumman could be like, hey, Bill, here's $10 million fucking dollars. Make sure we get the contract for the meat-eating robot. And Bill goes, I could use $10 million. I'm going to do it. You get the contract for the meat-eating robot. But he's only going to be there for 4 years. So they're going to have to fucking grease the skids with the next guy. And if it's all done by lottery, it's going to be hard for them to keep spending that kind of money. So, because you would be amazed, and kind of, the reality is how much little money it takes to get a fucking senator to do some shady shit. Like, to vote the way you want. They're not really paying those guys a lot. Look how much fucking the NRA gives to those politicians. They're not paying them a whole lot of money to, you know, I don't know, to go to full-term abortions. They're not paying those guys a lot of money. They're just fucking idiots.
All right, we're at 90 minutes.
Oh, man, we're at 90 minutes. See how fast time flies? I wonder if he made it back from Nashville.
Who's that?
The snack kid.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully Snack's here, because I'm starving.
All right, guys. See you later.
I might have to eat cereal.